How's it going, everyone? Pop-Tart here. Welcome back to the Aeroteam channel. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to build the Embraer EMB-505 Phenom 300 in 1.5:1 scale. The Phenom 300 is a light business jet that first flew in 2008. With over 600 built at the time of recording, it is massively popular, and not only with private owners. Fractional operators FlexJet and NetJets have huge fleets of 42 and 111, respectively. So, as for the build itself here, as I mentioned, this is in 1.5:1 scale, meaning that every 1 meter in real life is equivalent to 1.5 blocks exactly. If you are building an airport project or something in this scale, this will be perfectly to scale with all of our other 1.5:1 aircraft on the channel. Now, before we get started, as always, this build does make use of our very own custom Aeroteam texture pack. A download link to the latest version of this pack can be found in the description below if you don't have it already. Now, if you are stuck using the default pack, if you're following along on console or something, I will always do my best to show you how to go about building this in default. But please do keep in mind that I highly recommend using the Aeroteam pack instead if you can, as it'll look much better. Anyways, with that all out of the way, let's get going on this tutorial. Alright, so, first things first, here's some dimensions for you to help you figure out where you want to put this. This aircraft is 24 blots long, 25 blots across, and 8 blots tall from the base of the landing gear to the tip of the vertical stabilizer. So, just keep that all in mind as you're getting started. Now, as for materials, here in the Aeroteam pack, we're using the wool material, coupled with the purpur stairs and slabs, for the smooth and shiny white coloration for the aircraft. If you're building in default, you'll probably want to use quartz or smooth quartz as an alternative, so just use that instead of wool whenever I'm building. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'll be referring to these as the wool stairs and slabs, but again, that's the purpur stairs and slabs here in the Aeroteam pack. So, with that all out of the way, let's get going on the fuselage. Alright, so for layers 1 and 2 here, if you are building this aircraft landed on the ground, as I am here, you'll be wanting to start these layers 2 blocks off the ground, with a 1 block gap between, like this. If you're building this aircraft in flight with the landing gear retracted, then you can obviously just build it wherever you'd like, and you don't have to worry about that, but please do keep in mind that 1 block spacing otherwise. So, with that, to start off this layer here, what we're going to be doing is placing 5 wool top slabs going back. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next, we have an upside down quartz stair facing forwards, like this. Now, if you're already building the aircraft out of quartz, you can use something like polished diorite or cobblestone instead as an accent detail for details such as these, but we're using quartz here to pop out from the rest of the aircraft. And what this is representing here is a small radio antenna on the underside of the forward fuselage. So, next up here from this, we'll be placing another single wool top slab going back from that stair. Then out to the sides here, we have a birch trapdoor. Now in the Aeroteam pack, this is a white wool texture on the trapdoor to blend with the rest of the aircraft. In default, just use an iron trapdoor instead. And we have a total of 4 of these going forwards on both sides. So that's 1 there already, 2, 3, and 4. Oops, 4. There we go. Same thing on the right side. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like so. Next, back from the center right here, we have a single white wool full block, with a top slab out to either side, like this. And then next we'll place 3 blots of wool going back. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now out to either side of the forwardmost block right there, we'll place a single torch, like so. And in the Aeroteam pack here, this is a custom 3D light model like this. This will be for the wing lights on the sides of the fuselage here. If you're in default, you can probably just use a stone button instead, but this is what we're using for our lights here. So, next up here, we'll drop down, and underneath the middle block of these 3 wool blots here, we'll place a single dark oak trapdoor right there. In the Aeroteam pack here, this is a dark grey brick texture, like this. Again, just use another iron trapdoor in default. But then in towards the center from this here, place another birch trapdoor there, then another dark oak trapdoor to the side there, and then finally 1 more dark oak trapdoor forwards from the birch trapdoor, like this. This will be for a dark grey line running along the underbelly right here. And then forwards from all 3 of these trapdoors, we're going to place torches on their front faces. Now, obviously, this isn't possible in vanilla Minecraft. You can't place torches on non-opaque blocks like this. So we're going to use a mod called World Edit to put these into place. So this is a mod that's available for Forge for single player or Spigot for multiplayer. And if you have that installed, what we'll do for this is place a temporary block forwards from all 3 of these trapdoors here, like so. Then a torch forwards from any of those on the front face like this. We'll grab a stick, or any old item you'd like, type the command /repl0 to switch this over to the replace tool. We'll select that torch there by left-clicking on it, clear it out, and then paste over all 3 of these temporary blocks by right-clicking, like so. Now, if you don't have access to World Edit, another utility you can use is the debug stick in vanilla Minecraft with /give@p debug_stick. However, this is not a utility we have access to on the server here, so I can't demonstrate its usage for you. In essence, though, what you'll be doing for this is instead of placing a temporary block forwards from this right here, you'll place a temporary block to the side, and then place a torch on the side right there, so it's occupying the same block. Then with the debug stick, you'll keep on left-clicking it until you have the facing property selected, then right-click around to rotate it into place, and then you can clear out the temporary block. Otherwise, if you don't have access to either of those, you can just leave these little details out on the aircraft. They don't impact the build too much, and you'll still have a Phenom 300 left by the end of it. But these little details do add just that extra bit of life to the aircraft, so I would highly recommend that you include them if you can. And now, for this wing light, the wing light on the Phenom 300 is only present on the left side of the aircraft. There is no light on the right side, so we aren't going to be placing that lamp in symmetrically there. Instead, what we're going to do is in that same position, the third block forwards of those three, we're going to place a single stone button right there for the refueling access panel on the right side of the aircraft. So, once we have that, going back from these trapdoors now, we'll place a row of 3 of the birch trapdoors. 1, 2, and 3, like so. Then a birch trapdoor out to either side light right here, leaving the center block exposed. And in this center block, we're going to place a single stone top slab right here. And then behind this, we'll place a wool top slab right there. So this will be for a small fin on the underside of the wing box here, with that stone slab there representing the strobe lights. So interestingly enough here, on the Phenom 300, the strobe anti-collision lights are embedded in the fuselage rather than the wingtips like most aircraft have them. So that's what that's representing there. So once we have that, out to either side of that wool top slab now, we'll place a single acacia trapdoor right here. And this will be representing the exposed wheels of the landing gear when retracted into the underbelly. In default, I'd recommend just using a dark oak trapdoor instead. It'll be a little bit brown, but unfortunately you can't use a black wool full block above it, since that block will be exposed through the sides of the wing. But once we have that, it'll be another row of 3 dark oak trapdoors across the back here. And then coming back to the next layer up here, we're going to grab the light blue glazed terracotta. Now, in the Aeroteam pack, the terracottas are a utility texture with a black wool on one of the halves, and we want to find the rotation where the black wool is on the bottom half and the white wool is on the top half. So that's facing to the left of the aircraft for me. We're going to place one of these going back from both of those wools here, just like this. And then in the center right here, we're going to skip a block going back and place a diorite full block in the center between those two acacia trapdoors right there. And then out to the sides we'll place a wool top slab, like so. So this will form the little space in here for the gear wells, which will be especially useful when the landing gear are extended. Now, if you're in default, without the terracottas here, you'll probably want to just use a single white wool full block instead, because that top half there is exposed from the outside over the edge of the wing. That's why we're using the terracotta there to give the black wool on the inside, so that there's a little bit of a darkened interior for the wheel well. But otherwise, you'll just want to preserve the look from the outside with the white wool full block. But in the Aeroteam pack here, we are using that terracotta there to darken off the inside of the wheel well. So, now that we have that, we'll place another light blue glazed terracotta, again with white wool on the top half, going back from both of those wool top slabs right there. Then we have a row of 3 of white wool going back from this across the center right there. Then one single white wool full block in the center, and a wool top slab out to either side. Before we finish off the edge of the tail cone for this layer, we're going to grab the stone buttons. We'll drop down underneath here. Well, in the center, we're going to place a single jungle button, aligned parallel with the aircraft like this. And in the Aeroteam pack here, the jungle button is a white wool texture for white details such as this. You can just use another stone button in default. But speaking of those stone buttons, we'll now switch to the stone buttons here as well, and place one of these on the underside of the outer blocks here, left and right, again aligned parallel with the aircraft, for a set of vents on the underside here. And lastly, only on the left side, we're going to place a single stone button on the left side of that one exposed white wool full block right there. This is for the ground power unit access panel. This will only be on the left side of the aircraft here, so this will not mirror over to the right side. So, now that we have that, going back from the white wool full block in the center there, we're going to place an upside down quartz stair facing forwards, like so, for another antenna on the underside, and then a single wool top slab going back from it. And that is everything for layers 1 and 2. Alright, so for layer 3 here, we'll be starting right on top of the forwardmost top slab from the previous layer, with a single snow layer right there. Behind this we have a wool slab, and then a set of 6 snow layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That'll finish off the curvature of the tip of the nose right there. Then out to either side of that set of 6 snow layers, we're going to place a quartz half slab on the bottom half right there. and these are for the baggage doors on either side of the nose. Next, going back from this here, we'll grab the light blue glazed terracotta again. This time, we want the black wool on the top half, with the white wool on the bottom half, right here, which for me is facing down the aircraft, like this. So this will be starting off the edge of the cockpit glass in this layer. So we'll place the same thing on the right side right there, again with the black wool on the top half there. Now, if you're without access to the Aeroteam pack, I'd probably recommend using a white wool full block instead. It'll make the cockpit glass a little bit too skinny, and it won't have the signature tapered curvature of the Phenom 300's cockpit glass, but a black wool full block in its place would be much too out of place, so that'd probably be the best compromise. But in the Aeroteam pack here, again, that's the terracotta with the black wool in the top half there. And then in the center here, we can just place a black wool full block to close that up from the front there, behind the snow layers. Next, out to the sides here, out to either side of those terracottas, we're going to place a single tripwire hook right there, on the left and right. And these are for the pitot tubes on either side of the nose here. Now, interestingly enough, on the Phenom 300 model, the computerized pitot tubes can actually calculate the angle of attack, fully eliminating the traditional angle of attack vanes also present on the side of the nose here. So, with those in place, well, let's place a row of 3 white wool across the center right there. And then one more going back from either side, like this. Next, only on the left side right here, we're going to place a single block of quartz right there to start off the forward entry door. This is not present on the right side. And then coming off of this block of quartz, we're going to place a single dark oak button, and that'll be for the red door handle. Now, as you can see, in the Aeroteam pack, the dark oak button is a red texture like this. Just use an occasion button in default probably for your best bet. But otherwise, going back from this, again only on the left side for the asymmetry here, we now have 4 wool stairs facing backwards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that'll start off the windows on the side of the cabin here. Now on the right side, going back from that wool block there, it's going to be 4 wool stairs again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And in that staggered gap right there, we're going to place a quartz stair facing backwards for the overwing exit on the right side of the aircraft here. Then back from both of these, we have a single white wool full block on either side, and then another wool stair facing backwards for the last window in the row here. Then before we continue, we can grab the black wool again, and on the inside of all of these stairs right here, we're going to place a black wool full block, just to close it up from the outside. Since we don't have the space for an interior, that'll prevent the gaps from showing through the windows. So, once we have that, now only on the left side again, for even more asymmetry, we're going to place 3 blocks of wool going back from the stairs. 1, 2, and 3, like this, followed by a single quartz full block. And this will be for the cargo door and the tail cone right here. And then we have a wool top slab back from that there. On the right side, that's going to be 4 blocks of wool. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And another wool top slab going back. Next, directly in towards the center there, 1 white wool full block to close that off. Then a second going back. Out to either side right here, we have a stone button on either side of that wool block there. And this will be for a set of vents on the tail cone. Then we have a wool stair facing backwards, an upside-down wool stair that is, followed by 2 quartz full blocks going back, 1 and 2. And this will create the single ventral strake on the underside of the tail cone there. And with that, that is everything for layer 3. Alright, so for layers 4 and 5 here, we'll be starting right on top of the black wool full block in the center of that row of 3 from the previous layer, with a nether brick half slab right there, which in the Aeroteam pack is a black wool texture to blend, but you'll probably want to still use nether brick slab in default. Then behind this here, we're going to place a set of 7 snow layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This will be 2 pixels short of a full block, giving just that extra little bit of curvature on the forehead of the Phenom 300 here. And then another nether brick half slab out to either side there to finish off the cockpit glass. Then going back from those snow layers, we have a total of 17 wool full blocks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Like so. And then finally, to finish this off, we're going to place a dead brain coral fan on the rear face there. In the Aeroteam pack, this is a white wool vertical slab, like this, and that'll just form up the curvature at the rear of the Phenom 300's tail cone right there. So in default, without the vertical slabs, you'll probably want to just close an iron trapdoor against the side to get kind of the same curvature without overdoing it too much with a full block. But, yeah, so once we have that vertical slab in place there, or whatever alternative you're using, next, only on the left side here, again, we have that asymmetry to worry about, we have a single white wool half slab right there, with a quartz slab behind it there to finish off the entry door. Then a total of 10 wool half slabs going back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. On the right side here, we have 5 wool wool half slabs going back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. then a quartz half slab right there to finish off the overwing exit, and then another 6 wool half slabs going back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, like so. Finally, for some added detail on the top of the fuselage here, we're going to start right on top of that first white wolf full block right there, with a single jungle button aligned perpendicular to the aircraft like this. Then we'll skip 2 blocks going back, 1 and 2. And on the third block here, we have a jungle button aligned parallel with the aircraft this time, and another one back from it right there, so you have a set of 2. Then we'll skip another 2 blocks going back, 1 and 2, and on the third block here, a lever, flipped facing backwards, like this, and that'll give us these smaller antenna bumps along the top there, and a larger antenna fin right in the center there. And then for our last detail here, skipping a single block back this time, on the second block, a stone button aligned parallel with the aircraft, like this. And this will be the strobe light on the top of the fuselage, the counterpart to that one on the underbelly that we placed there previously. And with that, that is everything for layers 4 and 5, and the fuselage is done. Alright, so next up here, we'll be putting in the vertical stabilizer. So for this, we'll be starting right on top of the last wolf full block in the center row from the top row of the fuselage. We'll be placing 2 more wolf full blocks going up from this here, 1 and 2. And on the rear face of that top one there, we'll place a single dead brain coral fan. Now, for this one, you can probably use an upside-down wool stair instead in default as an alternative. This has a much smoother and more realistic curvature to the real aircraft. So, then going up from this here, we have a single white wolf full block, with a top slab going back from it there. Then 2 more wolf full blocks going forwards, 1 and 2, and 1 block going down right there. Out to either side of that one, we have a birch trapdoor on the top half there, for some aerodynamic strakes on the sides. Then 1 more wolf full block going forwards. Then we can just place a set of 2 underneath that right there. Then for the dorsal fin, connecting into the vertical stabilizer here, we're going to place first a set of 6 snow layers going forwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then a second set of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Out to either side of this here, we can use World Edit to place in a stone button on the side of that set of snow layers there. So, /REPL0, grab the stone button and paste over. Grab the stone button and paste over right there. And this will be for the pack inlets on either side of the fin there. And you can just leave them out if you can't use World Edit to place them in. But otherwise, going forwards from that there, we have a set of 3 snow layers this time, 1, 2, and 3. And another set of 3 snow layers, 1, 2, and 3. Now that we have that, to finish off the curvature on the top of the vertical stabilizer here, we'll place a set of 3 snow layers on top of the forwardmost block right there, 1, 2, and 3. Another set of 3 behind, 1, 2, and 3. Next we'll be bumping up to half slabs here, so the next block back will be a polished granite slab. In the Aeroteam pack here, this is a red texture. This will be for the red beacon light on the top of the vertical stabilizer here. In default, you'll probably just want to use bricks as a substitute. But then going back from this here, we have a single wool slab right there. So, with the bulk of the vertical stabilizer done, the last thing we'll do here is place a temporary block underneath the top slab right there. Then another one, actually we don't need another one for it. We'll just place a single stone button underneath this right there, aligned parallel with the aircraft. Select that with World Edit and paste over. And that'll be for a little static wick coming off of the rudder right there. Again, you can leave that out if you can't place them in, but I highly recommend that you do for some added realism. But once we have that, that is everything for the vertical stabilizer. Alright, so to put in our horizontal stabilizers, we'll first come out to the set of 3 snow layers at the very front of the top edge of the vertical stabilizer here. We have a jungle trapdoor out to the side right here. Into the Aeroteam pack, this is a smooth stone texture, which will be for the gray, unpainted anti-ice portion on the leading edge of the horizontal stabilizer here. Then we have another one directly down from it right there. Next, from the top one right there, we'll place another 2 jungle trapdoors coming out from it, going out at an angle, like this. And then 1 more going out, like so. On the underside of those 2 there, we'll place another set of jungle trapdoors. Those will not go on the underside of that outer one. And then out from that outer one right there, we'll place a birch trapdoor diagonal to this, or again, another iron trapdoor if you're in default. Then 2 more birch trapdoors going in towards the center, 1 and 2. And then out at an angle here, or going in at an angle rather, 1 and 2 birch trapdoors right there. That'll connect up with that red slab right there in the vertical stabilizer. Then we can fill in these 2 spaces right there with the birch trapdoor. On the underside here, to fill in this gap, going back from the jungle trapdoor on the root of the horizontal stabilizer here, we have 2 more birch trapdoors going back from it on the top half right there, then 1 more going out on the top half there. That'll finish off the bulk of the horizontal stabilizer here. For some last little bit of detailing, we can put in, again, another static wick here. So for this, a temporary block going back from the outermost birch trapdoor right there, and a stone button on top of it this time, again aligned parallel with the aircraft. Select that and paste over like so. Now if you don't have access to world edit but you do have access to commands, if you'd still like to include this, you can use a barrier block on the underside right there, and then place the stone button in, on top of it there. But once you have that, all we have left to do now is just to build the horizontal stabilizer on the right side of the aircraft. So, jungle trapdoor coming off of the snow layers right there, with another one underneath it on the top half. Then from the top one, 2 more coming out at an angle there. Then 1 diagonal. Then a birch trapdoor diagonal right there. 2 more in towards the center. And then 2 more in at an angle right there. 1 and 2. Then fill in those 2 gaps with the birch trapdoors. On the underside right here, 2 jungle trapdoors underneath those trapdoors from the upper layer there. Then 2 birch trapdoors going back, and 1 more going out right there. Finally, a temporary block behind the outermost birch trapdoor, stone button on top, aligned parallel. Select and paste over, like so. And with that, the horizontal stabilizers are done. Alright, so next up here we'll be putting in the wings. So for this, we'll be coming down to the wing box, the outermost layer of the fuselage here, where we have these 3 wool full blocks behind the wool top slab right there. On the second one back, and immediately behind the wing light right there, we're going to place a single smooth stone half slab on the bottom half right there, followed by 3 more wool slabs going back. 1, 2, and 3. Then a single quartz slab right there. That quartz slab will be starting off the flap detailing, which we'll get to later, and the smooth stone slabs here are, again, for the anti-ice on the leading edge. Next, from that smooth stone slab there, we'll place 2 more smooth stone slabs going out at an angle, 1 and 2, and then 2 more slabs out at an angle, 1 and 2. Then up a slab layer, we have 2 more top slabs out at an angle as well, and from the innermost of those 2 blocks right there, a single dark oak button aligned parallel with the aircraft like this. Now I have to admit I'm not entirely sure what these details are. I think they might be the manual refueling caps, but whatever they are, they're red details right there on the top, and that's what we're using for them. And then going out from this here, again, another set of 2 smooth stone slabs, 1 and 2, like so. Then we'll switch over to the wool slabs, and we have a single wool top slab diagonal to that there. Next, directly behind this here, a single quartz top slab, with 1 more in towards the center, for the ailerons on the outer side here. Then a wool top slab in towards the center. And then going in at an angle here, we have 2 quartz top slabs going in towards the center. And then drop down a half slab layer and directly in towards the center, a single quartz slab on the bottom half there. Then diagonal to this here, a wool top slab, or half slab, in towards the center there. And then 2 more quartz top slabs, half slabs, not top slabs, in towards the center right there, to connect up with that one from the wing root there. So that'll give you the inner flap section there, the divider between it and the outer flap section, and the ailerons on the very tip of the wing. So to fill this in now, we only have 1 single layering outline to worry about. So where we have this layer transition, where the half slabs go to the top slabs there, diagonal to that smooth stone slab there, we're going to place 1 top slab going in at an angle, like so. And that'll connect up diagonally with that quartz slab from the trailing edge there. And that's all we have to worry about for layering outlines for the top surface here. So everything within the outline of the wing and the outline of the next layer up is going to get filled in with the wool slabs. So, just like this, and just like that. And then for the underside here, it's just 1 single block we have to worry about. So, where we have these, well, the smooth stone slab, then the wool slab behind it, we'll just place another wool slab right there to flush off that row there. And that'll be everything for the wing layering there. So, for one last detail, we're going to come to the very tip of the wing right here. We're going to place a temporary block going out to the side of the wool slab right there, like so. Then a dark oak button on the left face right there. We'll select that and then paste over, and that'll be for the red nav light on the left wing tip here. Now for the additional wing geometry, again the engines are fuselage mounted so we have no pylons to worry about. And on the Phenom 300, the flap extension racks are mounted within the wings themselves, so there are no flap track fairings to worry about. It's all perfectly flush on the trailing edge here. So the last thing we're going to put in place now are the winglets. Now, unlike some other aircraft you may be familiar with, these are not optional. These are installed on every Phenom 300 aircraft. So, what we're going to do here for this is place a single birch trapdoor out to the side of that quartz top slab right there, like so. then a wool stair facing forwards on top of it. Behind this here, a dead braid coral fan, and just like up on the tail there, you can probably use an upside down wool stair in default as an alternative, but it'll be a little bit chunky, so this is why we prefer the vertical slab right there. And then a single wool half slab on top of it right there. Then to finish off the winglets here, we can grab a stone button and place a temporary block behind that vertical slab there. Stone button on the rear face, select that and paste over, and that'll be for the static weights coming off of the winglet right there. So with that winglet in place now, that is the wing done. So all that we're going to be doing now is building the same thing on the right side of the aircraft. Now if you have access to World Edit, this is very easy. What we're going to do is grab the wooden axe, which is the World Edit wand. We're going to place a temporary block going back from that wool slab right there at the tip of the winglet. We'll select that temporary block by left-clicking on it with the axe, then clear out that temporary block there. Switch over to the axe again, and then select this smooth stone slab at the wing root there by right-clicking on it. Next, stand on top of the fuselage right here, align yourself with the center of the aircraft, then face perpendicular to it out to the right side here. Type //copy to copy this to the clipboard, then //flip while facing to the right to flip it horizontally, then //paste to paste that wing onto the right side, like so. And if you did use World Edit to flip this over here, you'll want to come to the base of the wing right here, and where we have that stone button on the right side of that wool block right there, you'll want to clear that out, as that copied over from the right side. And again, that's asymmetrical, that is only present on the left side of the aircraft, so you'll want to clear it out from the right side there. Now, if you don't have access to World Edit, you are going to have to rebuild this by hand on the right side, and due to the sheer size our wings can be in our larger airliner tutorials, we aren't able to rebuild our wings a second time on camera. So you can find a timestamp back to the wing root in the video description below, and just build everything on the right side in mirror fashion. But either way, once you have your finished wing ready to go on the right side of the aircraft here, there's just one last asymmetry to correct. So where we have that dark oak button on the right side there, the nav light, we're going to clear that out, and then place a temporary block where it used to be. We're going to instead grab the crimson button and place that on the right side of that block there. Select that with World Edit and then paste over like so. And that'll be for the green nav light on the right wingtip here. And in default, without this green button here, I'd recommend probably just using a dark prismarine slab in place of that wool slab there for a green coloration on the wingtip. And then probably a Brit slab on the left wingtip instead in place of that button. But once you have that all ready to go, that is everything for the wings. Alright, so next up here, we'll be putting in place our two Pratt & Whitney Canada PW535E engines. So we'll be starting with the pylon first here. On the outermost layer of the fuselage, where the row of wool half slab ends, we'll be placing 1 and 2 jungle trapdoors going back from that there. Next up here, we'll be placing a wool full block out to the side of that forwardmost one right there. And then 1 and 2 more going forwards. Then a smooth stone full block on the front face of that there. Then to represent the engine intake here, well, let's grab an acacia button and place that on the forward edge of the smooth stone there, or in default, probably a dark oak button instead. But then next up here, on the underside of this, we're going to place a jungle button, aligned parallel with the aircraft, underneath that smooth stone there, for a small streak on the underside. Next, underneath the forwardmost of the 3 wool full blocks there, we have a wool top slab, and a wool trapdoor going back right there. Then, only from the forwardmost of those 3 blocks, we'll close a wool trapdoor against the left side right there, and then place 1 more on top, and then place a single white carpet going back from that, like so. And then behind the last wool full block right there, we're going to place another acacia button right there for the exhaust at the rear. Now, lastly, if you have access to World Edit, you can replace this last wool full block with a set of snow layers to make the tapering a little bit more realistic. So for this will be a set of 7 snow layers. So on top of this here, we'll place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 snow layers. Select that with World Edit, clear it out, and then paste over that last wool block there by right-clicking on it. That's everything for the engine there. So all it's left to do now is just build this on the right side. So again, 2 trapdoors going back from the last wool slab right there. 1 wool full block out to the side of the forwardmost of the 2 there. Then 2 more going forwards. A smooth stone full block forwards from that there. Then a jungle button on the forward face of that there. Not a jungle button, an acacia button right there. I was thinking about the jungle button we're now going to place on the underside, aligned parallel with the aircraft right there. Wool top slab going back from that there, and a trapdoor. Then on the forward block there, close the trapdoor into the side, and 1 more on top. Wool carpet going back from that. Then an acacia button on the rear of that wool full block there, for the exhaust. and then paste over that set of 7 snow layers with the replace tool if you are able to. And with that, that is everything for our PW535Es. So, with the engines now in place, that is everything for the in-flight aircraft. Next up here, we'll be building the extended landing gear. If you're building this in flight with the landing gear retracted, then you won't be building that section, and you are done with this tutorial. Congratulations! Just skip on ahead to the outro section via the timestamps below, and I will see you then. Otherwise, let's get going on the landing gear. Alright, so for the landing gear here, it's a very simple affair for an aircraft as small as this. So we'll be coming right in line with the edge of the nose right here, where we have these quartz slabs on the third block back. We'll drop below this third wool top slab back, and then place a wheel skull below this right here. Now, on the Aeroteam server here, we use this wheel texture on a player skull provided by the HeadsDB plugin. If you have a similar plugin or an online heads database that you can use to find a similar looking wheel skull like this, you can use that if you'd like. And if you don't have access to commands to get a skull like this, you can probably just use a wither skeleton skull instead. But anything that gets a black coloration wheel texture like this in a player skull size for the nose wheel, that'll do nicely. So once we have that in place there, we'll next have to clear out the wool top slab above it and the snow layers there in order to place an armor stand on top of it for the strut connection. So we'll stand right here, face straight downwards, and place an armor stand right there, trying to align parallel with the aircraft as much as you can. I might have to actually replace that one just to give it a second shot. So right there. That should do close enough there. Then we'll grab the iron leggings and equip that iron stand there with the iron leggings, and that'll just finish up the detailing for the upper shock strut there. And now we have to replace those two blocks that we cleared out here. So, for this, we're going to instead be replacing that wool top slab there with a diorite top slab to start off the detailing on the interior of the nose wheel well. And to move these into place, we're going to use World Edit. So, from this wool top slab or the wool trapdoor right there, we're going to place a diorite top slab diagonal to it right here, right in line with where it was previously, or where the wool top slab was previously at least. And then on top of this here, we're going to place a set of 6 snow layers again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we can grab the wooden axe again, select the snow layers by left-clicking, and select the top slab right there by right-clicking to select those 2 blocks. Then come out to the left side here, and then face in towards the inside of the aircraft. Then type //move 2 to move it 2 blocks in towards the center, which will be right on top of that center block layer right there. And if you don't have access to World Edit, you can still move these into place just fine. Just place them in above and use pistons to push them down from below. And make sure not to use pistons to push them in from the side. That'll push the armor stand out of the way instead, since it can move freely in that direction. But since the floor is locked up there with that player skull, it should stay right where it is, and will instead result in the blocks dropping right where they need to be. But once we have that there, next, going forwards from that diorite top slab there, we're going to clear out that wool top slab and replace it with a dark oak trapdoor right there. And then out to either side of this here, we're going to place a birch trapdoor closed against the top slab and against the dark oak trapdoor, like this, for the nose gear doors opened out to either side here. Just like that. Now for the main landing gear, we'll come down to the underbelly right here, below the wings. I'll drop into spectator mode to slide down underneath. So where we have these 2 black top slabs, or trapdoors right there, for the retracted landing gear, we're going to clear out that trapdoor, and then beneath that space right here, going out a block, so underneath the innermost half slabs in the wing root layer right there, we're going to place a single player skull right there, of whatever material you're using for your wheels here. But once you have that, we'll next place a lever underneath the half slab forwards from it right there, flipped facing backwards, and that'll be for the trailing link strut connection to the landing gear here. And then finally, on the block out from the player skull right there, we're going to close a birch trapdoor against the side for the opened gear doors. And then we just have to place in those 3 blocks on the right side. So, where we have the black trapdoor for the retracted landing gear, clear that out, and then on the block out from it right there, and underneath, a player skull, have to slide in a block right there, aligned parallel with the aircraft right there for the wheel, block forwards from that, lever flip facing backwards for the trailing link connection, and then on the block out from the player skull right there, a birch trapdoor closed against the side right there. And that is everything for the landing gear, and the Phenom 300 is done. So, congratulations on completing the Embraer EMB-505 Phenom 300. Thank you so much for choosing an Aeroteam design. We hope that you enjoyed building it, and we hope that you enjoy having it as a part of your Minecraft world. Do feel free to use this in any kind of publicly available project you like. given that you, of course, provide proper credit to the Aeroteam for these designs. So, if you have built this aircraft, let us know. We'd love to see how you're using our designs. A link to our Discord server is in the video description below. Feel free to drop on in and show us what you've done. If you enjoyed, please do consider subscribing to the Aeroteam channel to be the first to see our new aircraft when they come out. Make sure to have a look through the 1.5 to 1 scale playlist on our channel as well for more builds in this scale to see if there's anything else that catches your interest. Anyways, that is just about it. So, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.